one of M. Night Shyamalan's best movies ever since The Sixth Sense and Unbreakable. You got Split. If you haven't seen it or heard of it, this is actually the sequel to the Unbreakable film. Basically, James McAvoy plays an upcoming villain. It's pretty much focused on him and his victims. You actually don't really get to see much of Bruce Willis in this film. I think you get to see him near like the end or something like that. But a different way to do a superhero film. It's basically a horror film. That's what's kind of cool about it. All these, it was like, I think like 4 girls or something, they get abducted by this man, and he's got 23 personalities, and they're all very different. And what's really cool is James McAvoy, he does them all very well. I mean, if you didn't think he was a great actor before, just watch this movie. He's just in every character. It's kind of creepy. But when that 24th personality comes out, it's a whole different ball game, man. I don't want to ruin too much at this part, but he's worthy of being Bruce Willis' supervillain. Absolutely. You also have Anna Taylor-Joy in here too. She kind of plays the main character in here along with James McAvoy. That's the first movie I think I've seen her in. No, that's not true. I've also seen her in The Witch as well. But the first one I actually recognized who she was. She's fantastic in this film too. She plays a good counterbalance to James McAvoy's character. Definitely worth the watch. If you want to have some faith in M. Night Shyamalan, this is the film to see. Alright, now for any of you who don't want spoilers, get out. I'm going to talk about it for a second. I think what's fun about this kind of villain is he's kind of a victim himself. Actually, not even kind of, he is. He's been through a series of traumatic events that's resulted in him having split personalities. It's pretty bad. It's so bad his actual self is actually lost way beneath all of these people. He actually has people trying to help him out too. That's the interesting thing. There's people trying to pull him back away from the deep end, pull him away from the cliff, but it just doesn't really work out that way for him. I felt bad for him, to be honest with you. I felt bad for his character that he was just taken over by these other personalities. They won't even let him out. It becomes a sort of a ritual, really. They abduct these girls for this beast. It's kind of like a sacrifice to him, for him to kind of finally emerge. There's such build-up with that. The whole time I was like, oh man, what's it gonna be like? How is this beast gonna emerge? How is he gonna actually be? And then when you actually see him, he's terrifying. I gotta say, not because he looks like some big horned devil or anything like that. Just because James McAvoy's commitment to the role, he becomes so muscular, he becomes so ferocious, he becomes so almost godlike and biblical. It gets beyond himself. He becomes an unstoppable being, which makes sense for an unbreakable superhero. You know what I mean? It's really good. I kind of feel like M. Night Shyamalan should just stick to making superhero films. That's how good this is. What's also interesting is how he actually kills his prey. What do I mean? He eats them, right? But more importantly, he chooses people who are not broken. Just to be clear, most of the girls that he abducts, they're perfect young kids. They're just young girls living their life, just all vapid and happy. La, 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 la. You know what I mean? Nothing, no traumatic stuff at all. They're just living life to its fullest. YOLO. Those are the people he goes for. Turns out, more spoiler for you, Anna Taylor-Joy's character, did I say her name in the right order? Excuse me. She's not that way, and he finds that out, and that actually saves her life. There's a funny irony with that, because the traumatic situation she's been in is so bad. It's so bad. I wouldn't imagine that being a positive, but somehow M. Night makes it that way for her. It's like a passage to live. Hey, you're fucked up just like me. It's basically James McAvoy's kind of take on it. It's a fun film. It's a fun idea. Great supervillain film. Great horror film. Really one of M. Night Shyamalan's best films. Is it better than Unbreakable? In a way, yeah, it is. It's just next level. M. Night was actually able to take an energy from Unbreakable and just crank it up. Really, for the next movie, Glass. That's what he's actually done over the long amount of time that it took to make this film. So check it out if you haven't seen it. If you have, let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you later.